So really what you're getting down to isn't just like a business thing, it's like a effective decision-making thing, okay? And it's a framework that I want to show to people here that may have not seen it pitched this way, called expected value. So expected value, very simple framework, I think if you view it from a bird's eye perspective, but like very powerful if you can internalize it, is basically an equation where you try and determine the expected value of a decision by looking at the impact of that decision times the probability of success if you were to make that decision. Okay? So impact obviously is one of many things. Impact might be I don't know, like your dollar value impact of a business decision. Impact could be, I don't know, the number of people that you influence positively in the world. Like these are things that you define, right? Probability of success is like, what is your success condition and how likely is it that you will achieve it in a given point in time? So let me give you guys a quick example that I came up with when I was trying to decide on, the way to go with my life. It was the expected value of a SaaS versus the expected value of like an AI agency. Okay. And I'm going to use it AA because everybody uses the AIAA and then the AAA. Screw it. We're going AI agency. If you think about it, the expected value of a successful multi-billion-dollar SaaS or whatever, the potential impact of a multi-billion-dollar SaaS is huge, but we need to find a way to quantify it. So let's just say, I'm trying to decide, hey, should I make an Uber or should I make like an AI automation agency? Here's how I think of it. Expected value of this decision would be equivalent to, let's say, the total impact that I would have dollar sign wise on my own income, which would be $1 billion, times the probability that I actually achieve like one of these unicorn style SaaS companies, which, it's not going to be 1%. It's probably not going to be 0.1%. It's probably going to be like 0.01%. Okay. So if you want to get the actual expected value of the decision, what do? We math it out. I think I said million here, but I meant billion. There you go. It is very early and I'm sick as hell. That's 1 billion, right? And then we multiply the probability of that success by 0.001, I think. So if you think about it, if we quantify expected value in terms of actual dollar impact, that is $1,000,000, I think, right? 000. Good God. Okay. So the expected value of me choosing this decision is actually only $100,000. Why? Because despite the fact that the impact is really big, the probability of success is very low. Now, let's hypothetically say, what is the expected value of an AI automation agency? So if I were to have projected this into the future and said, over the course of the next 5 years, I could potentially make $1 billion with a SaaS company, but I have a 0.01% chance of achieving it. Therefore, the expected value is 100,000. Let's say over the course of the next 5 years, I'm like, how much money could I make with an AI agency? Maybe I could make $10 million, right? That's 10 million versus $1 billion, so significantly lower on the impact side. But the probability of success with an agency is significantly higher. It's a lot more straightforward. And I don't really need to like disrupt any new industries. Therefore, I go as far as saying the probability of me achieving a $10 million payout with this is, let's just say 1% as opposed to 0.01%. And actually, sorry, I didn't mean 1% here. I meant 10%. Right? So you take 10 shots at this over the course of 5 years, you're probably going to fail. If you're a total beginner, you've never done anything, you're probably going to fail like 9 times out of 10. But 1 out of 10 times, you're going to make 10, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 times this. So what is the expected value of this decision? This expected value is actually $1 million. So are we using this equation every single time we try and make a decision? No, obviously not. Like the whole point is it's just like a little mental model for you to think about things through. So I don't actually like write this down every time I'm like, what decision should I make? Should I put my socks on this morning or should I eat some ice cream, right? Like obviously not. But the point that I'm trying to get at is like it's a mental framework by which you can evaluate the probability of success multiplied by the impact to get what decision you should make. So some high level things, I'm very risk averse, which means I want that percentage probability success number to be as high as possible generally with all the things that I do. And I'm okay making an allowance for the total impact being lower, right? Like $1 billion versus $10 million. This is a big difference ratio. It's like, could I probably have been really successful over the course of the last 5 years had I dove into a SaaS? Like, I probably could have been pretty successful, but to what outcome, right? I could have been, it's just there's a very low probability of it versus something that's a lot more achievable, right? That has a much higher probability of success. The expected value of that decision is actually higher. And all I'm doing is I'm like maximizing my expected value. And also what's really cool, once you understand this, is you also understand that like the two options aren't actually always mutually incompatible and mutually exclusive. What I mean by this is like you could, for a certain period of time, start with a high probability of success thing, something that has a high expected value, okay? Go down that path first and make a ton of money. And then later, now that you have a ton of money, you can now insulate yourself against that risk and actually take a bunch of these shots, which may lead to some sort of like short-term downswing in your revenue or your success or whatever, but then, maximally increase the probability of you winning later on. So really cool mental model, and that's how I think about things. Anyway, to answer that question, how do you manage them? I just pick the one that I think has the highest expected value at any point in time, and that's where I spend the majority of my time and energy. So my school community pays me a ton of money. It's like ridiculous. It's like, generational wealth every single month. Well, maybe not every single month, but like every couple of months with the time that I spend on it. So it's like the expected value of this, my ability to make a ton of money, probability of that success if I just continue doing what I'm doing is very high. So I spend all of my time on that. Well, not all of my time, but I spend the first like hour and a half of my day on that basically. And then from there, I just trickle down based on the expected value of the other things. So for instance, like my main YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, like what you're seeing from the outside in is you might be like, well, why isn't Nick spending all the time on this? Well, it's because I've like ran through the numbers essentially. And I'm like, okay, that is the thing that pays me the most. So I spend a proportional amount of my time on that. That second thing pays me the second most. So I spend a proportional amount of my time on that. The third thing pays me the third most, and so on and so on and so forth. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. All right. Glad to